Now, looking at writing generally, I don't know if you use storytelling. Like I said before, we like storytelling a lot. Of course,
Yeah.
storytelling for us is everything. If I'm just putting words there. Do you want to tell me how you use storytelling in your writing?
I use it more with blogging, and I usually use it to introduce a topic in a blog. So if it's something like a story that where I'm relating the experience, maybe it's something that I went through that I'm writing about with writing. So if I can tell a story there, that's a really good way to introduce a topic. If I can tell a story about somebody that I've worked with, not with names or anything, or just something I've done in a classroom, if I can frame it in those story terms, I find those are a really good way to kind of get people to say, oh, I want to read this, or oh, I want to learn this. Um, I find storytelling works on basic website pages, like an About Me page and all of those things, instead of making it sound like a resume, like I did this, I went to school here. So being able to kind of piece out, pull out different pieces of your story and use that to talk about why you do something. I find it really useful in those types of writing. In academic writing, a lot of times, unless it's something where you're writing like observations in a classroom or maybe for education, storytelling isn't really popular there. It's not really something that one does unless it's the story of how a study took place. Um, but any of the personal essays, I help people with their personal statements for college. That is almost all storytelling, because you want a college or any kind of university or graduate student to know you. So you've got to have storytelling in those types of things.
Now, when you look at story and say maybe writing, this can even be books or academic writing or blog. I'm trying to understand what actually make a good writing. How do you describe a good writing?
Well, with a story, I always try and talk about people like, with some interesting beginning. And usually, if I can, I tell them to also think about how that's going to build. Um, we look at different ways in which you can, if you're building like a short story, how you can build a different story up, where that climax is, where that turning point is, if it's something in your life where you've had some kind of realization, and pulling out those different things. But it really, because I have people doing a lot of biographical thing, so much of it comes from them finding that story and picking it out of their lives that helps them really tell it. I tell them to be really descriptive in their language, think of things through the senses, the five senses, to give people that feeling that they're there. Um, all of those things help if they can use metaphors or analogies or symbols, things like that, that people can identify and relate with. Those help too.
For people that want to start writing, where do you think they should start from? I mean, what is your recommendation for beginners writer so that they can become better writer?
My first recommendation is to actually sit down and write for 5 minutes a day. And don't worry about judging it. You can pick writing prompts. I find there's so many on the internet just to give you a story if you want to write a story topic, and write just a very little. It doesn't matter if your sentences are perfect, but just start building up those writing muscles. That's really the beginning piece, is actually sitting down to write. until somebody does that, they can't really learn writing because they're not thinking of themselves as writers. So really just start with a little bit a day. And as you're doing that, also be reading and noticing other writers. What do you like? Is there a phrase you like? Is there a sentence you like? And then you can start working with somebody step by step on how to start those pieces of writing. But I find that it's really about consistency and writing a little bit each day that's going to make the biggest impact, which is strange because people always think, oh, Suzanne, it should be a lesson. But I'll tell you, my best students, they're all like, that's the biggest thing. That's the most important thing to get, because it does help them see themselves as writers. It does help them realize I have things to say. And when you have those things to say, you're not worried about, is this perfect? And it's when we're worried about, is something perfect? And we're judging ourselves as that. When we're judging ourselves, that's when we get stuck and we really aren't open to learning.
It's like maybe when people, okay, like the example you were giving before, no? When you were new to the social media, you think that maybe when you put a post or a video of you there, the whole world is going to see it.
Yeah.
The 7 billion people in this world is going to see that post. They're going to judge you. They're going to condemn you. Look at it. You make this mistake and all that. Is not. That is not true.
Yeah. Well, I also think about it. If you want to learn how to exercise and do something, you wouldn't start off with, let me, if you want to run something, let me run a full mile. You would really start off slowly and kind of build that up and then reward yourself. Well, hey, I'm doing this every day. Isn't that awesome? Those
Absolutely.
types of things. Rewarding yourself a little bit always helps with keeping you going, giving yourself some applause.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now sort of a personal story. What do you really love about writing? Tell us about what do you personally like about it?
I love that you can share your voice and your ideas through writing. I've always felt that if you can write something, it kind of has a lasting impact. So I can express my ideas, I can tell my friends my ideas, but when I write something and I put it out there, it's going to last longer. And I love that feeling of contributing my ideas and my stories to the world. So it's empowering, really empowering.
It's empowering, yeah. That is an awesome power.
Yes, it is.
All right, coming back to business again. What is your writing coaching actually concentrating on? Tell us a bit about who should contact you for assistance.
Okay. Well, there's really two groups of people. The people who are struggling with any kind of writing to do with academic essays or research papers or anything that you do more often in like advanced high school or college or even graduate school. I help a lot of people with their graduate level writing. The other group of people that I help a lot with my business are people who want to get into college. So it's writing personal statements. So if you're planning on going into college, or I help people with getting into graduate school, all of that writing that you need to do for your applications, those are people I work with a lot and help. Also people who need to write things for any kind of scholarship that they're applying to.
All right. So how can people connect with you? Those who want to maybe work with you, share with them how they can reach you.
Okay. Well, the easiest way to reach me is really on my website. You can click from my homepage to whether you want to get help with your academic writing or that personal statement. And from there, you can get a free consultation with me. I also have a contact form with my email, so you can always email me. Those are pretty easy and quick ways to get in touch with me. But we always start off with a free consultation to see if we can work together well and if I can really be helpful to that person.
All right. Now, what would be your final thought here to conclude the conversation? Maybe that is something you wanted to say I did not ask you, because I'm not able to know everything that is important for you. So please go ahead and do that.
Okay. I would say everybody is a writer with stories to tell and ideas to share that make the world better. All it is a matter of learning. So even if you think that you are not a good writer yet, you are a writer. You just need the right lessons or the right coaching or the right writers group that's going to support you. All you need to do is learn a few things because we're all writers deep down.
Suzanne Davis, thank you so much. It has been a pleasure talking with you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me today.
I appreciate that. Thank you.